How many years are there in a millennium? Or how many millimetres are there in a metre? And what does milli mean? Well, we have here a ruler. And the bottoms are inches, and we're going to ignore those again. And the bigger ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, are centimetres. But the little ones, the tiny little dashes, are millimetres. So all these little dashes, where there's 10 little dashes between 0 and 1, or 10 for each centimetre, are millimetres. And in the last video we looked at centi, and centi meant there were 100 centimetres in a metre. And there's actually then 1,000 millimetres in a metre. There's also 1,000 years in a millennium. So a few years ago, or just almost 2 decades ago now actually, we had the millennium, which was to take into account that it's the year 2000. Well, actually now it's currently year 2017. And the millennium just meant the 1,000. So how many millimetres in a metre? Well, there's 1,000. Now there are other things which use milli. And for example, you've got milligram, you could have millinewton, and milli is quite a common thing we would use. And I'm going to move my ruler out of the way and bring in some multivits. And let's get the camera to focus, put my hand in the way and then back. There we go. So the camera is now focused on this pack of multivits. And you'll see here, you've got, for vitamin C, 80 milligrams. Vitamin B1, 1.1 milligrams. And you've got lots of milligrams. So we've also got something here which is a little weird UE symbol. And that means micro. And we don't come across that as often. We will come across it in vitamins and stuff like that, because you don't need very much of many vitamins. And what micro is micro is 1,000th of a milli, or 1/1,000,000th of a gram. So, for example, let me get to calcium. Calcium, we've got 200 milligrams, almost, well, it is exactly 1/5 of a gram. But something like boron, which is 0.5 milligrams, will be 1/2000th of a gram. And let's see if we can find the smallest one on here. Is that one, which is vitamin B12. And vitamin B12 is 2.5 micrograms, which 2.5 millionths of a gram. Tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. And we've got lots of different things we need. Now, if you're ever going to get the multivits, make sure that you get the multivitamins plus minerals. So a lot of multivits kind of only contain that one, all the way up to there. But we've got all the other different minerals, including calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, iodine, and iodine is essential for your nervous system. So if you ever get multivits, get the multivitamins plus minerals rather than just multivits. Anyway, you've got milli, which is 1,000th, and you've got micro, which is these little weird U's, which means 1/1,000,000th. There are other ones before, like even smaller, so which aren't on here. So 1,000th of a microgram is what's called a nanogram. And nanograms are ridiculously tiny. It's like a grain of flour or something. It's tiny amounts. So you're very rare to come across nanograms. But we do measure things like the length of light in nanometers, which is 1/10000000th of a metre. Tiny, tiny, tiny lengths. So that's your different ones. So how many years are a millennium, or how many millimetres is there in a metre? Well, there's 1,000 millimetres in a metre. There's also 10 millimetres in a centimetre.